Today I'll be reviewing One Piece episode 814, Shout of the Soul, Brook and Pedro's Lightning Operations. So it was cool to finally see Brook again, like actually in action. I haven't seen Brook, and we got to see Chopper. I haven't seen Brook or Chopper do anything in so long. I feel like the last time we actually saw one of them do something was maybe back on Punk Hazard, way before Dressrosa. Like, Brook and Chopper didn't contribute to Dressrosa at all, and Dressrosa was a long time. Like, that went on for years. So this is the first time us getting to see them back in action. So it was pretty cool to see that again. So also this after this episode is, I think this is the second time since the Luffy versus Sanji fight that I've been so tempted to just catch up with the manga because I want answers. It must be worse for manga only readers because they have to read the chapter and then they have to wait and like wait, no, where's the next chapter? Give it to me, please. And have to wait a week and maybe sometimes two. Whereas if you only watch the anime, if you really want to see what happens next, you can always just revert to the manga. Not to mention it has faster pacing. So the episode starts off with Pedro taking down Big Mom's men left and right. Like, he was doing it with his speed, his sword, and explosives. I don't know how he's carrying that many explosives, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. But Pedro is crazy fast, and his sword, like the bottom of his sword, I forgot what the bottom part of the sword is called, but it kind of looks like if you ever seen Shanks' sword or Cavendish's sword. It kind of looks like one of those, so maybe it's one of those famous swords too. That's what I'm just guessing based on appearance alone, which would make sense because he does seem pretty strong. So it would make sense if he had one of the strong swords of the world, the Wado swords, I believe. But I think those are only like kunai swords or katana swords. So yeah, I guess Oda always puts a lot of things. He always throws a lot of things out at us that gives us a lot of questions. It's crazy, but I love One Piece for that. Anyway, so we also find out that Tamago is trying to corner Pedro in the garden, and he realizes that Pedro is only the bait because he doesn't know where Brook is at all. Meanwhile, we see Brook, who gets into the treasure repository after defeating a bunch of guards on the outside, and then he still has more to face on the inside. Not to mention that Tamago sent Pudding, so she's on the outside waiting to just capture him as soon as he gets out. So Brook has quite the struggle ahead of him. But we did get to see Brook do some amazing things this episode. One of the highlights of the episode was Brook when he says the chess beastmen are all made out of are basically made out of souls that Big Mom put in them. And he just basically takes them right out with like his music and is like, don't you know my other name? It's Soul King. And then he says the chess beastmen won't even be able to stand on their feet when he's around because of his shout of the soul. And I'm guessing that's what his new like power is, or I don't know if you want to call it a form or maybe an ability. I'd say it's more of an ability with the ghost. I'm not sure what it does, if it's just ghostly aura. It kind of looks like lightning, and the way they colored it makes it seems like it could be that, or it's just light. But if I had to choose one right now, I'd say it's most likely just the ghostly aura, kind of like the one he uses to go through walls. But it'd be really cool if he could attack with it. It's cool that we finally get to see Brook maybe have his moment since coming to the New World. Anyways, then we see Sanji, who wants to get flowers for Pudding because he's like really in love. I don't know, it's kind of good seeing the old Sanji again, but at the same time, this is really bad. But then again, Sanji only feels good because he thinks his friends are getting away and he's getting married. So you can he would be happy because this kind of seems like a win-win situation for him. Little does he know what's actually going on. Anyways, then we finally get to see Chopper, and we find out his plan to beat Broly. So it turns out the carrot we saw tied up, was actually just a frog that Broly made out of the mirror, and the real carrot was hiding in the attic, acting like she was tied up, yelling and screaming from afar, and they couldn't notice. And Chopper's plan was basically to wait for the moment they tried to drop in the fake carrot. So when they do try to drop her, Chopper gives Carrot the signal, and she throws a rock at Randolph, and I'm like, geez, I know that hurt. And then she jumps from the attic and kicks the boiling pot of water onto Broly, and she just burns there, and I'm like, that's what you get for trying to cook up Carrot. Anyways, then Chopper frees himself. He goes from like his buff mode, I forgot what it's called, arm point, to his regular form. Then goes into Monster Point and says that it's time to start their counter charge. So I really can't wait to see what happens next with Chopper. Hopefully the next time we see them, he actually defeats her and moves on to whatever he has to do. But I'm wondering, what is Chopper going to do next once he does defeat her? But we'll have to wait and see. After that, we see Luffy, who wants to escape, and he's even like biting the cage to try to escape. I'm like, this is all classic Luffy. Then he calls like the marshmallow dude like Marty Head or Warty Head, something like that. And then Pudding comes to see them, and she just basically apologizing for not bringing Sanji to the coast, and says that she has to tell them something, and that's that Sanji actually proposed to her. And both Luffy and Nami are lost for words. Like, what? I'm pretty sure that's the last thing they were expecting to hear coming from Pudding. I don't know. Did Luffy actually think Pudding was gonna free them and be like, "Hey, these are my friends. Let them go." Meanwhile, Nami knows not to let them know that they're actually like friends or buddies or have any association. But Luffy's just like, "Nope, friends are just gonna help you out." So she's gonna help us out, even though she's the daughter of our enemy right now. I'm really wondering what's going through Luffy and Nami's head right now, hearing that Sanji actually proposed to her. Meaning he doesn't like, that's like, to them, that's probably the official letter that, yeah, I'm not with you guys anymore. See ya. So I'm really wondering what's going through Nami's head. And in the preview, it looks like Pudding actually whispers something to them. I wish they had put it in this week's episode, but they didn't. So it looks like she's whispering something to them, and Luffy just looks devastated in one like brief scene we see in the preview. It also looks like Big Mom is headed to the treasure repository. Not to mention she's going with Smoothie, so I don't see how Brook is gonna make it out of that. I don't know. I don't see Brook getting past Big Mom at all. I don't think whatever he's about to pull out of his hat is gonna be that good. Unless he just like uses some music to put them to sleep. Yeah, that's the only way I see this going down. But yeah, like I said in the beginning of my review, this is the second time I've been tempted to catch up with the manga and find out what's going on. But then my urge would be like worse to find out what's going to happen next week. And my impatience would drive me crazy. So I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. But I have the strangest feeling this arc is going to push me to that point. Oh, something else I want to mention is that the animation was actually surprisingly like really good for this episode. Like there were some moments like the art was so good. Like when Nami and Luffy were locked up inside and we see them looking and shouting at Pudding, or not shouting at Pudding, shouting at the guy, and then them watching Pudding come in. But I feel like the animation with Brook's soul, Shout of the Soul, I guess I'll just call it the Shout of the Soul form. It was kind of like stagnant. It didn't really move much. So I feel like they could have brought that to life more possibly. Then again, asking them to bring something to life when it has to deal with Brook is kind of ironic. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and bye.